Well, hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the All Portable Discussion Zone. It's a bi-weekly live stream all about amateur radio portable ops. My name is Charlie, November Juliet 7 Victor, and with me this evening is our show's two co-hosts, Brian, W7JET, and Dan, KC7MSU. And I'm also pleased to introduce to you tonight's guest, Bob, AC1Z.
Yes.
He is a top SOTA chaser and activator, and so we're looking forward to talking to him. He is a, three-time mountain goat and a five-time Super Sloth. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Cool. All right, and of course...
Yeah, heads up.
And of course we have...
Heads up after a while.
Yeah, it does add up. Of course, we also have our guests in the chat room, our regular guests that come and join us there. Thank you for joining us. We are happy you're there. Let's get going here. We got a good lineup tonight, and I think it's going to be a good one. If you have any comments, go ahead and put those in the notes, whether it's down here, over there, wherever it is, and we'll grab those as we go along tonight and ask Bob what he thinks about your questions, or if you just want to pass on a comment, that's fine as well. So first, let's get around the room here and see what everybody's been doing over the last couple of weeks. I guess I'll go ahead and start this time. I haven't been doing much as usual. After the live stream, I usually kind of don't do a whole lot other than work on post-editing and videos. And then usually the weekend before the live stream, I go out and do a SOTA activation. This weekend was no different. I went up north to Flagstaff, up to the snow. We have time at the end. I'll kind of show you a video or two maybe. And so then I hopped over to the club's Winter Field Day event, which Dan and Brian, either one of those will probably talk a little bit about. So, but that's kind of what's been up with me. Not a whole lot, just hanging out, doing some little SOTA, and then chasing here in the shack as I work throughout the week. And, you know, that's me. How about you, Dan? What's up?
Hi. Let's see. Haven't been out on a SOTA summit lately, so looks like I saw one that was activated today that looked kind of interesting. So probably the week after next, I'll be out doing that one. We had Winter Field Day this weekend. It was a lot of fun. We were out with our Superstition Amateur Radio Club out at Usery Mountain Park, and it was a really great weekend. Didn't work the finals on the radio very hard at all, but it was mostly a social event for the club. So we've got to see a lot of people that we hadn't seen in quite a while, and had a lot of great visitors. Some people that were getting ready to study for their technician exams. We also had one or two new people who have an interest in SOTA. So we're looking forward to getting them out on a hill soon and get them indoctrinated. Back to you, Charlie. Go ahead.
All right, cool. Just let's go over to Brian then. What's up, Brian?
Oh, not a whole lot. Been working on build projects. Some people who follow me on Facebook have probably seen some of the photos of them, mostly non-SOTA related, but definitely ham radio related. Had a good time at Winter Field Day. Activations plans this week got dashed by the weather, and my some other schedule. I would have liked to have been with you on Thursday, but unfortunately I had appointments all day that kept me from doing that.
Yeah, how's your arm doing?
It's getting better. You know, it's almost straight. Probably going to get released to work in about 2 to 3 weeks. Everything's working. It's working right now. You know, I can turn my hand and everything is there, and the fingers move like they're supposed to. So I was able to split wood with it last night. So it's a good time.
He was, and doing quite a fine job.
You guys are freezing.
Wish you would have minded the fire pit a little better, but you know.
Well, you know, I mean, I can't do everything for you, Dan.
All right, Bob, we're really happy to have you with us tonight. I thought I'd invite you because I'd seen you in my log quite a bit. Plus, you've been out to Arizona, and we had a chance to kind of exchange some emails and talk a little bit about some summits and stuff like that. So what have you been up to the last couple of weeks yourself?
Well, the last summit I was on was Mount Kearsarge here in New Hampshire. It's a 2-pointer with a 3-point bonus.
Nice.
Also hiked Mount Moosilauke, which is a 10-pointer. I usually hike those in the wintertime to get the bonus.
Huh?
So that's my last two activations. It's been pretty cold here. It said it's -2 degrees this morning, so
Yeah, where in New Hampshire are you?
I'm in the central part of New Hampshire,
Okay.
in Alton.
All right. So it's you just go like this and you can touch either side of the state, right?
Just about. It's a small state.
Cool.
But I'll show you. I have a chart of some summits that you might be interested in.
Yeah, bring it up. Let's take a look.
All right, you want me to share the screen here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. See that okay?
There it is. Yep, it's up.
Okay. As I said, I'm Bob Daniels, AC1Z, Alton, New Hampshire. See if I can. Doesn't seem to be. Here it is. Okay, this is a chart I put together. Can you see the whole thing, or?
Let's see. I can see from number 1 to number 11.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Number 1 to 11. These are 11 of the 10 pointers in New Hampshire. I just brought these up just to show some information about them. They're in order of elevation gain to get to the summit. The column to the right shows you the elevation gain. So all of these 11 10 pointers in New Hampshire are from 3,000 to 4,300 gain. And the miles you need to hike is listed here in this. The column, just the elevation from sea level. It doesn't look too great compared to too high compared to the summits out west, of course.
Right.
But there's significant hikes out here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, so I'm glad you're bringing that up, Bob. I'm glad you're bringing this up and talking about this because it's the elevation gain that's the key, right?
Yeah, it makes it difficult.
And so if you have have a peak in Colorado or in I don't know in California, in the Sierra Nevadas, whatever, and you may start you drive up there, you may start at 6,000 feet by the time you're done, the elevation gain may not be that much. So
exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring this up. It's New Hampshire's is different, but yet still very challenging.
Yeah, that's right. So the next slide shows the rest of the 10 pointers. There's 26 total, and the rest of them are all over 2,000 feet elevation gain. Some of them are up to 18 miles of hiking to get to them.
Oh, that's quite a distance for a hike.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do a lot of overnight hiking as well. Overnight stays. You pretty much have to here.
Yeah. So your easiest 10-pointer then is which one?
Well, probably one. Well, there's two of them that you can, like Mount Washington, you can actually take a cog rail up or a drive up. But that's the only one you can do that with.
Yeah.
Cannon Mountain has a tram that you can take up almost to the summit.
Okay. How much is
But
that?
as far as hiking, probably the easiest one to hike to would probably be something like Mount Tecumseh or Osceola.
Okay.
But,
So Bob, how much is the tram? How much do you have to pay for the tram?
Gee, I don't know. It's state run. It's a state. Cannon Mountain is owned by the state. I can't remember. I don't think it's it's too much. It's used for skiing in the winter.
Yeah.
They have it operating in the summer as well.
So in the summer in Jackson Hole, near where I live, I took the tram up there once on one of the Tetons to do a peak. It cost me $50.
Okay. Oh, really? No, I don't think it's that much. Maybe $10 or something.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Now in New Hampshire, you also have these signs here that kind of intimidating. The U.S. Forest Service puts these up. The area ahead has the worst weather in America. Many have died there from the exposure, even in the summer. Turn back now if the weather's bad. So they have those up in a few places in the White Mountains. This was the first summit I activated. This is a summit that's nearby me. It's a one-pointer. I started in April 29th, 2014, Belknap Mountain. It was an easy one. I activated that this is the seventh time I activated it. This time I was up, I went with my daughter and my grandson, who were patient. It was pretty cold that day, but they didn't mind me making enough contacts to make, to activate the summit again. Mount Stinson, or Stinson Mountain in New Hampshire. This was I go up there just about every winter for the past, since 2014. You get the winter bonus on that. Nice view up there, and there's a lot of remains of old fire towers. That's quite common in New Hampshire. Mount Nancy, that was the first one up to activate this one. It took a unmaintained trail to the summit. This was an overnighter for me. There's a little bit of snow left. It was right next to Norcross Pond. Pretty isolated area out in the wilderness. No cell service, texting, or anything. But the summit had a sign on it and a pretty nice view. This is Mount Mitchell down south, the highest peak in the east of the Mississippi. Elisha Mitchell, a scientist and professor, died in the attempt to prove this mountain was the highest. And there's a grave stone up on the summit for him. And I set up just below this. There's a large structure up there, a lookout structure.
Yeah, what is that?
Very easy summit to get to.
Range House got that loop. Is
Mount
that
Washington, back in New Hampshire. This is in June 2017. This is when I reached 1,000 points to become a mountain goat. I hiked across the presidential range. I was out 5 nights hiking and activated summits on the way. This is kind of a famous summit known for its wind speed. There's a weather station on the summit, and they record the weather and the wind. It's had the highest winds in the world.
Wow.
This is Acadia National Park in Maine. It's a mostly desert island. There's 7 summits there, all one-pointers, but beautiful views. Very nice place to visit if you've ever been there before.
Did you hit all those summits then while you were
there?
there?
I got them all. Yeah, I got them all.
Cool.
We were there for 10 days camping. And Cadillac Mountain is known for its sunsets. You managed to see that. And this is a place called Thunder Hole. And I was sitting there with my wife watching the waves come up. And kind of a interesting place.
So,
Mount Lafayette.
hey Bob,
November.
real quick.
Yeah.
Dennis wants to know: is it true that all the trails in the East Coast, with few exceptions, are straight up? He wants to know that. Is that true?
Straight up? Not all. No, probably more so than out west.
With few switchbacks, they just kind of go straight up.
There's some switchbacks, but
it's more so than the
probably
west,
not
though, huh?
many there is out west.
Huh.
Yeah. Mount Lafayette. This is a very popular summit in New Hampshire. November 2017. They set up in a kind of a rock foundation area that they had there. Beautiful views. Brasstown Bald. This is the highest peak in Georgia.
Yeah, I've activated that one.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I did a video with that with what's his name? Why can't I remember his name right now? Well,
Pat, maybe.
Yeah, it was Pat and it was Andy. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know Pat. Yeah, I went there. This one I did with my wife joined me. Back in New Hampshire, Paul, N1ZF. He's a mountain goat here in this area. He's from Connecticut.
Ah.
We hiked this one. It's an 11-hour day, 4,300 feet elevation gain, 9.6 miles. It was foggy when we took this picture, but it did clear up a bit. And you can see some quite nice views. Some people call this summit Mount Adams a rock pile. It's just a pile of rocks, they say.
Yeah, it looks very desolate.
Yeah, no trees. This is a trip to Hawaii in November 2018. This is a Pink Pillbox summit. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. There's a pillbox that's painted pink. The actual summit, though, is at this pillbox, which is a little farther up, covered with graffiti, as most of them are out there. There's another summit I did. It's a very hot day. I found a little bit of shade behind this cactus tree and set up down in that area. Diamond Head. I think you did this one, Charlie.
Yep, I did in Hawaii, right?
Yep, Hawaii. Yep, still in Oahu. Yep.
So do you go through a tunnel to get there? That looks pretty.
Yeah, it's kind of a walkway.
Huh.
On part of the way. Had a hard time finding a place to set up. There's so many people. It's a very popular summit, but I did manage to get over to the other side of the fence.
Yeah, that one was a
Sign
really.
says don't go over there, but
yeah, it's a really hard activation. There's so many people up there, and it was tough.
But I found a spot just right close to the summit. This is another one. I think you did this one, Dan.
Yeah.
Brian, you did this.
Brian did,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I actually. It's when we were in Hawaii. It was early rainy season, so we were going to do Diamond Head, but we got washed out that day by 2 days of really pretty heavy rain. But this one was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Going up though.
What's
In fact,
interesting?
walking on ice in a few places.
Yeah, what's interesting is there's the opposite for me, Brian. I wanted to do this one, and ended up it was raining when we did this one. It's so much. We hiked it anyway, but I didn't take my gear up there because it was pouring. I didn't think I'd be able to get all the way to the top and activate it. But yeah, it's kind of sketchy up there on that one when it's wet. So yeah.
Yeah, it's muddy. Yeah.
Yep.
We started out before sunrise. Saw the sunrise. This is my daughter in the middle. She joined us, and my wife is on the left. That's interesting. Call it the Sleeping Giant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Bob, do you know Jeff AA6XA by chance? He said he's from New Hampshire. He lives in California now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds familiar. Yeah. I had the pleasure to meet Paul, HB9DST. He's from Switzerland.
Oh wow.
In 2018, he came out and we activated a summit here in New Hampshire, Pine Mountain, which is close by to me. One pointer here. Now Paul has over 4,300 activator points, and he's activated a summit in all of the USA SOTA associations.
Huh.
So he's a very active SOTA in SOTA, and it was a real pleasure to meet him. This one's familiar to you, out in Arizona, Turkey Hill South.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Sitting there with a beautiful view. It's an easy one.
It is. Oh look.
Yeah, I had the pleasure to activate with Keith, KR7RK, and Dave, AE9Q, up to Mount Lemon.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, that was fun.
How'd you rope them guys in?
What's that?
Oh, and you got Bud there too. How'd you rope all these?
Bud. I activated 2 Rock Mountain with Bud and 7 CW. That was great. A lot of fun. Reached 2,000 activated points on Mount Kearsarge, which is one that I've been on. I was up again just a couple of weeks ago, or a few days ago. This was 2019 when I reached 2,001 points. This is Mount Greylock. This is the highest summit in Massachusetts. It's got a World War I Centennial Memorial on it, which is fun. This is Mount Garfield. It's another overnight stay in October 2019. You can see it's a little cool. It was down around 10 degrees at night.
What is that? You got your tent pitched on there?
Yeah, it's a platform that they have out. They have them at a lot of the campgrounds that are way out in the middle of nowhere in the woods.
Huh.
Remote campsites. Forest Service put these pads up. This actually was one for the host. There's usually a host there in the summertime.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why it's so big. But
So they pitch a tent up there?
Yeah, in the wintertime they're gone, so I just use that one. There's other ones there.
How do you stake it down?
The platform?
Yeah, well, you got that tent there. Usually you have to drive the stakes into the ground and stuff.
Oh yeah, you just tie it off with ropes. And mine's a freestanding tent anyway, so you don't really need to stake it down.
Gotcha.
But you take rope, tie it onto the loops, and bring it over to the side. They have hooks on the side. But you're right. Sometimes they are kind of a pain. The next morning, though, I woke up to a great sunrise. I mean, it's one of the best sunrises I ever
Wow, that's
saw.
beautiful.
That is amazing.
I had some
fantastic.
beautiful pictures there. This is just one that I picked out. But it was great.
So what do you take your photos with, Bob?
Well, that was just with my cell phone. Yeah, Pixel.
Great.
XL. Yeah,
Nice photo.
takes pretty good pictures. This was actually on the summit. The campsite was just a little below the summit. But the summit is where I set up on. You can see there's great views up there. This is a 10-pointer. This is kind of an interesting summit in Oklahoma, Plateau, Oklahoma. It's Kavanaugh. It says the world's highest hill. And it says elevation 1999. Well, the thing is, they took that elevation from the river at the base of the hill, and not from sea level. The actual sea level is 2366, going with my GPS, and but I guess it's an attraction. getter. There's quite a few people who have activated this summit. I think 56 times.
I didn't know there were
Pretty much a
summits
drive-up summit.
in Oklahoma.
Yeah, there is. It's a drive-up summit. But this was kind of interesting with this, very large rock sign. This is a high point in New Jersey.
The Jersey?
New Jersey, yeah.
Good old High Point.
Yeah.
The High Point is called High
Monument
Point?
up there.
Yep, High Point is called High Point. It's the,
Wow,
Yeah.
creative.
It's 1,000 feet elevation. It's the highest thing in New Jersey.
New Jersey, yeah. Easy to get to.
I'm
This was
amazed at the
close.
number of monuments and actual buildings that are on some of these summits. Is amazing. You never really see that like out here in Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah. This was closed. The tower was closed when I was there because of the virus. But this is Mount Rogers. This is the highest peak in Virginia. A lot of wild horses running around. Great views. An interesting summit. And the actual summit is all wooded, but on the way up and back, you have great views. Mount Magazine in Arkansas is also called Signal Hill. Easy one to get to, and a bench to set up on. January 2020. Back in New Hampshire, Mount Moosilauke, this is a 10-pointer. Again, hiked with Paul.
Look at that snow.
That is amazing. I was just going to comment on that. That's quite the
Yeah.
sign there.
Yeah, that's the summit
It looks-
sign. Yeah.
It almost looks like a cloud, the way
Yeah.
it's shaped.
Yeah, well, very windy up there. But this was a nice blue day, blue sky day. The last time I went up, a little earlier this year, actually, it was all clouded in. I couldn't see anything. There's Paul trying to get his fingers to work in the cold. Vulture Peak,
Yep.
Wickenburg, Arizona. I was the first one to activate this one. It's
That's Maricopa
March
County Park
2020.
too.
Yeah. This is a little tough one to get up. You can get up to the saddle easy, but the last stretch to get up to the summit's kind of difficult. Initial activation of Cranberry Peak in Maine, July 2020. My daughter and my grandson joined me on this one. Actually, my daughter just received her general class license on January 25th, 2021.
All right.
KO4 LIT. So we're
That's
planning
awesome.
to do some summits together when we get down in March.
Good.
Oh, great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This is southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail, Springer Mountain.
I've been there too.
Okay.
Done that one. Activated it. Yeah.
And this is the northern terminus, Mount Katahdin in Maine,
Maine.
highest summit in Maine. It was a nice hike. It's a beautiful area up there, Baxter State Park. Reached the 3,000 point mark, 3 times GOAT in October on Hawksbill Mountain in Virginia. Nice views from there, and there's shelters there. So that was it for that.
Cool. SOTA equipment. Hey, good. I was just writing down on my notes here. I asked you about your SOTA equipment. So
Big
good.
year. Let's
Okay,
hear out
you
the
wanna-
toys.
You want to take a look at that at this point? Or-
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Well, basically, I use the KX2. I do have a Yaesu FT817 and a CW only radio and an HT. It's just a Bullfang HT that I use. Some antennas, I usually use the end-fed trail-friendly antenna. It's a short piece of coax, RG316. The middle one is a homemade inverted V antenna. I also have the AX1 Elecraft antenna that I've used on a few summits. That sets up really easy, and I'm surprised at how well it works. The bottom one is a VHF 3-element Yagi band.
So the one antenna, that's the one you use on your KX2, the little vertical there.
Yeah.
So how has that antenna been as far as usage? Do you find it's really good or kind of marginal?
It works pretty
Or?
well. Here's an example I put in here. This is Scarlet Mountain in Arizona. I don't know if you've been up to that one.
Yep.
Probably have. And you can see it set up. I just set it up on that rock there. My This was see, we had to cut our vacation out there this year, or last year, short because of the virus. Everything was shutting down and so forth. So we had a flight at night, and before the flight, I went up and activated this mountain. My wife was waiting for me back at the parking area. She didn't want to hike with me, so I did a quick activation, but made plenty of contacts, and with that antenna AX1.
Yeah, somebody was asking me about that just yesterday, and
Yep.
and asked if what I knew about it, if I thought it was good or not. I just gave an answer that the best I could based on what I heard. But you have actual experience, so how many summits do you think you've used that on?
Oh, probably 5 or 6 summits, probably.
Yeah.
I usually use the wire because I can load that up on all the bands.
Mm-hmm.
I always look for summit to summits when I'm on a summit.
Right.
So with the NFAD wire, I think it works a little better. Plus, I can switch from band to band with the KX2. The ATU in it, the tuner, and it allows you to switch quickly. So I can
It'll
pick up
tune a
summit
wet
to
noodle.
summit. Yeah. So everything fits in this little 7x7 by 4-inch dollar store plastic container.
So why doesn't everything of mine fit into a box like that? I don't
Well-
understand what I'm doing wrong.
No. It fits the I guess I don't have the battery in there, but it will fit the battery. The battery that I use is this one. That
Uh-huh.
I've been using the past year or two. It's a 3,000 milliamp hour. This will go for at least three activations, no problem. My home QT, I can show you these real quick. This is what my use that I chase with. It's just a Force 12 C3 beam. It's up about 55, 60 feet. Tower's just attached to the house. This is my home station. I use relatively old equipment. Got an FT920 Yaesu with an Alpha 78 amplifier.
Nice.
And it seems to do the job.
So what's your approach on chasing? I mean, you've chased a lot. Do you just do you have an alert on your phone, or what do you do?
Yeah, well, the SOTA watch now has an alert on it. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but the latest one, if a new spot comes out, it will alert you with a voice saying it's a new SOTA spot. So that's helpful. You can also use SOTA spotter.
Do you get up in the morning and go through and look at the alerts and all the alerts and kind of plan your day around them like some people do?
I do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I work DX in the morning a lot of times, and then while I'm doing other things in my shack, doing paperwork or whatever, I listen for stations and chase them. Usually spend 2 or 3 hours a day doing that.
Yeah.
Not every day, but most days. I started when I got my license when I was 13 years old. W1FZ. There's a newspaper article that was put in there. I still have that. This is my, the goat.
What's the white stuff on there? That's
I put that in the back. It's a goat symbol. I
gotcha.
Not on there anymore. Yeah. This was the first radio that I used. My call sign was WN1ODG. Back then, it was a novice class.
Huh.
Nice.
WN1 novice, and then it was changed to WA1 when I got the general license, and then I got the extra class. I got the AC1Z. But this is a Mako. I put that together when I was, first got my license when I was 13. It was a kit.
Yeah. How much did that cost?
Well, W1FZ, Jim Thayer, who's a silent key now, he bought it for me, so I'm not sure what it was.
Good for him.
He used to give classes to teenage kids, back then, and great guy. And he would give them he would set them up with the first radio. Bottom one's a helicopter, Model S108, all CW. The other thing I was just going to throw in is we have campouts. We've been having one every year, every summer. This is the first one we had in July 2018. Have it in Twin Mountain. Do a lot of activating, and you can see Pat joined us.
I was just going to say, I see Pat right there.
Yeah, in the first one he joined us. A couple of activations we did. Mike and S1TA, he's now moved to California, but Mount Field with him and Pat, Mount Martha. And we also had a dinner event.
Cool.
And a fellow from Vermont, Scott, Al from Massachusetts, Paul from Connecticut, Chris, KG6CIH, he's a mountain goat here in New Hampshire. Mary, Herman Merle, you probably know Herman Merle.
Yep.
Yeah. They haven't been active recently, but I'm hoping they'll get back in on. Another picture of the camp out. Now, this past summer, we only had 3 people due to the things going on, and but we activated a lot of summits. We all took different summits and did some, summit to summits.
Fun.
So that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, Bob, thank you for sharing your slides with us. I have written down 4 questions, but I'm going to let Dan and Brian go first and see if they have any.
Yeah, I had 1 or 2. So, Bob, you've gone to, quite a few states and everything in the mountains that you've activated. Is there a particular accessory item that you hike with that surprised you that you use quite often that maybe other people don't know about or haven't used?
No, I do bring. I didn't show all that, but I bring quite a lot of equipment, little miscellaneous things. I do have a bothy bag, in case if it's wind or bad weather, I could set that up. I bring a tarp with me. That's probably handy. Sometimes I bring a chair, but the hikes are pretty long here, and I like to try to keep my weight down as much as possible. So I usually don't bring that unless it's a short hike.
Okay.
Yeah, but you do have to dress, in New Hampshire, especially in the winter, you have to be real careful. You have to bring a lot with you. So I bring my large backpack, a lot of, coats and things, just in case, if you fall down and can't get up, it might be a few hours before somebody comes and rescues you.
True.
So you do have to be prepared.
So, and you'd mentioned that you might be planning some trips coming to out west perhaps this year.
Yeah, that's what my wife and I are planning. We'll take the camper to Colorado and up through the South Dakota to the Black Hill area, and summits on the way as well. Well, out there.
Great.
That's the plan. But I'm planning a trip in March, coming up fairly soon, south again. This will be the 5th trip, sort of a SOTA trip south. And I'm hoping to meet up with my daughter, who like I said, she just got her license, so I'm going to set her up with my AC1Z, so she can start activating. She hikes a lot, so yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's one thing about SOTA. If you enjoy hiking, especially, SOTA operating the radio just makes it that much more fun.
Absolutely. So, I just lost my train of thought. I'll go to my go-to question. So, evolution of your gear. Did you start out heavy and pare down? Go through the why am I carrying this? I don't.
Yeah.
Because I think we all go through that. The pack starts out real heavy, and then you shave off about 10, 15 pounds of why do I even carry this?
Right. Yeah. Even the 817, the FT817. A lot of people use that.
Yeah.
On some of their, but it's heavier than the KX2, and I think the KX2 is a lighter, easier to operate radio. So I pretty much use the KX2 all the time now.
So what piece of gear were you carrying initially that you looked at and you're like, I never use this. What I need to shut it off. What was it?
Well, I don't know. Probably just additional accessories. Maybe more battery. I think I used a bigger battery at first, and I find that you don't really need a very big battery. No. I think that may be the.
I think everybody in this group, Charlie and Dan, myself, we all went through that in the beginning. What am I carrying this for? Or this is way too heavy. There's got to be a lighter alternative. Or you see something and all of a sudden the light bulb goes off. Whoa, that's a lot lighter. Why am I carrying this?
especially if it's a long hike. I mean, if it's a drive up or an easy hike, it's one thing.
Oh yeah.
You got to hike a while. It's makes a big difference.
Yeah, for us, especially in the warmer months out here, the trade-off is not even so much equipment; it's the amount of water you got to carry, because we generally, we don't have a spring or a puddle that we could filter out of to top everything off.
Okay.
So,
Well, fortunately out here, I have a filter. In the summertime, I bring a filter, and you can filter the water. There's a lot of streams, rivers, streams, and so forth. Ponds.
That's nice.
That you get water out of.
Yeah.
I use a soya filter.
Yeah, even up north for us, we don't really have a lot of places. It can be pretty darn dry. You might not see water at all.
Right.
In the pine areas. When you come out west, or when you've come out to Arizona, has it been mostly in our winter months, or have you been out here in the summer?
January, February. Yeah.
So Chamber of Commerce weather time.
Yeah, I flew into Phoenix and both times, and we rented a vehicle, SUV, and took a trip up to Flagstaff and across Arizona, the northern part. Started off in the south. I visited with my sister who lives in near Wickenburg. And stayed there, a night or two, and headed north.
Hey, Bob,
Big state.
Could you unshare your screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. I think I can. My mouse doesn't seem to be working. What's going on here?
If you can't, that's fine. We'll proceed without it.
The mouse stopped working all of a sudden.
It's all right. So let's just go ahead. Jeff AA6XA in the chat asked if you've done all of the 4,000 footers.
All right. Maybe that'll do it.
That did.
There you go.
But without the mouse.
Did you catch that, Bob?
Yep. Okay, all set.
Did you catch the question I asked?
No.
Okay, so in the chat room, Jeff AA6XA wanted to know if you've done all of the 4,000 footers.
I haven't done all the 4,000 footers, but I've done the SOTA Summit 10-pointer 4,000 footers many times.
Okay.
3 or 4 times, some of them.
The 48.
But I haven't got to the bonds yet.
Okay.
Those aren't SOTA peaks, though.
Oh,
So
okay.
they weren't high on my list, as far as focusing on SOTA.
Yeah. All right. I wanted to ask you, could you talk a little bit about your winter gear? I know you've done a lot of winter activations, and kind of talk about how that's different than summer. I mean, you have to take different gear, you have to dress differently, you have to take into account different things. What are your winter activations like a lot of times, and what do you take?
Well,
how do you dress, that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, probably one of the biggest things you use is the micro spikes to put on your boots.
Yeah.
Because it's icy, oftentimes icy. And that's an important thing to put on. And you just have to dress in layers. You start off maybe feeling a little bit cool, and once you get hiking, you'll warm up. And then when you stop for SOTA activating, and you start putting things on, as soon as I get up at the summit, I usually put coats on, even if I'm not cold, because you get cold fast just standing in one spot.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I do it too.
Yeah. I do bring a bothy bag and a device, or it's a emergency blanket type of a thing that you can use in case of emergency. I've never used it, unfortunately.
Or fortunately, right?
A lot of the trails in the wintertime are actually easier than the summer, because the snow will cover up the rocks. So people stomp on the snow, pack it down, and you get a smooth trail. So in some ways it's easier in the wintertime.
Did you have any experiences in a winter activation that kind of got you worried, or maybe a blizzard or the weather, or maybe you taking a wrong route or anything like that?
I did take a wrong route one time, and I ended up coming down in the dark,
Yeah.
which I didn't anticipate having to do. But the other essential thing to bring with you is a headlamp,
Yeah.
and I did bring one, and that's a good thing to have.
Yep. I always take one as well.
Yeah, you take a good quality headlamp, and you can see pretty well with it.
Yep. All
Yeah.
right, one last question for you, and then we'll move on to some other topics here. Tell us a little bit about some of your other ham radio interests. We've got SOTA covered, of course, and portable
Right.
ops generally, but what else do you do?
Well, to be honest, I pretty much focus mostly on SOTA.
Do you do any building at all? I noticed, you had that
I have
one.
done some building, yeah, not recently, but
Yeah. What about your antennas? You make those?
yeah, I put several antennas together.
Okay.
Yeah, and but ham radio mostly SOTA activity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being a 3-time Shack Sloth and a 5-time Super Sloth,
Yeah.
I'm sure that you're focused primarily on that.
Yeah, just busy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the outdoors, and so it's a good combination.
Yeah, you mentioned Pat a couple times, and he's been one that he's done a bunch of different SOTA activations in different countries and stuff like that, all over. He's hit multiple states. I think he's done almost all the states and that are available in many countries. So and you probably have better pull with him than I do. Tell him that I want him to get on the show here. I told him he had an opportunity, and he's like, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
pull his arm for me.
Okay. I'll mention it to him.
All right, good. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some other things real quick. Let me just bring up a couple things that I have, and then we'll go over to, I guess, Dan next, and then Brian can follow up. Let's see. Let me get this picture up right here. Do you guys see that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. You don't see it up. Okay, well, let me try something else then. Try doing it this way.
There you go.
So maybe there's a lag or something.
Yeah, it's up there.
All right, good. So that's my wife right there. Isn't she cute? So I just wanted to let you guys know that I kind of was asking her if she would get her tech license a few times, and she didn't really have a lot of interest, but she actually passed her technician license on Saturday, yesterday, and so she's an official activator. And I asked her once, I think it was the day before she tested or whatever, what interest do you have in ham radio? And she said, I don't know, I probably just mostly SOTA. So you can expect to see her on top of some peaks with me. And I'm excited about that. That's a big surprise that I didn't really think was going to happen, but it is. So we're going to get her.
Charlie, all I got to say is with that feed is, we're not worthy. We're not worthy. Please tell us how to get this done.
I don't know.
It's great.
I just told her that I didn't think she could take the test and pass it. And so when I said that,
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. All right, let's
But
see.
it'd be great to hear her on her first peak. So
Yes.
hopefully that happens pretty soon.
Cool. All right, one other thing. Let me see if I can go ahead and bring this up. Wait a minute. I can. Did you hear that? Probably didn't hear it. I'm gonna have to share this screen over here, and so let me do that real quick. There, and
There you go.
hopefully you can see this. This was my last activation, and let me play that real quick. Zipping it up. That's right, man. I'm gonna do a snow angel. Hey, if you're in the snow, you gotta have a good time.
Especially in Arizona, you don't get enough of it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, all right.
So how much snow did you encounter there?
It was about 18 inches to 24 inches, depending on where I was. I started out around a foot, 8 to 18 inches, and then as I climbed, by the time I got to the top, it was pretty much a steady 2 feet.
How long did it take for you to get up there?
Hour and a half, between an hour and a half and 2 hours. This is a peak that normally takes 30 minutes, right?
I was going to say I had a feeling it was going to be a lot like our 49 adventure.
Yes, it was. It was a lot. It was the only difference between So for you guys watching, Brian and I did a peak called 49, and we did it just before a blizzard. We went up. It was really deep snow anyway, and it took us about 2 hours to get up.
Just over 2 hours to get up, and then we got another 4 inches on the way back down.
Yeah, and then by the time we got to the car, we were almost snowed in, and we were heading home, and cars were off the road every which way, and they were about ready to close the freeway. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite that bad, but it did take a long time to get to the top of this one. So I have a video coming out probably the next few days on that one, so you guys can catch that in the channel. And so, all right, Brian, what do you got?
Well, we had Winter Field Day. Dan and I were both the organizers, along with our friend and our fellow friend there, Jeff from the club, and we had a really good turnout. It's the first time we've done Field Day this way with our club. We got a group campsite in the county park right behind where I live, called Usery Mountain Regional Park. We had at one point probably close to 50 people show up altogether during Saturday. And operated 2 fixed stations and then kind of a guest station, whoever felt like operating, threw something up quick and operated for a little while. And we had a lot of fun. Weather was really good. Since I live so close, I didn't camp. I went home and slept in my own bed because I live 10 to 15 minutes away from the campsite. But Dan braved it out overnight and camped. I stayed until I think about 11 o'clock and enjoyed the campfire for a little while and the stories and the camaraderie, and then I came home and chased some DX on 160 meters during the contest and went to bed and came back in the morning and did it all over again. I got to see an up close with the ICOM IC705, which was neat to actually see that thing and see it work. It's a pretty impressive looking radio. We had a lot of transient people come through, non-hams and people that were interested in becoming hams. And I know Dan interacted with quite a few of them. I think that's when I was doing, some of those came while I was doing the pizza run. So that I might have missed a little bit of that, but Dan, why don't you fill in the rest of it?
Yeah, like Brian was saying, we saw a lot of the public out there, which was really nice. Easily 10 people that have no affiliation to ham radio and found what we were doing really fascinating. The Group 8 camp area where we were at has some trails that kind of go right through that particular group campsite area. So it was nice to see quite a few of the people from the general public out there. And we had 2 hams non-hams that were actually getting ready to start studying for their exams. So we're helping them out, guiding them along to get their technician's licenses first, and then we'll see if we can't get them on a hill. We've got like 3 other people who were interested in SOTA, including the gentleman with the IC705. So we're looking forward to getting all of those folks up on a hill very soon, and increasing the number of SOTA goats here in the state of Arizona. So it should be a lot of fun. So looking forward to taking some newbies out and having some fun.
Hey, Bob, what did you do field day at all?
No, I haven't. I didn't go out this weekend at all. No.
Yeah, you're saving yourself for the big peaks, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to get warmer this week, so I'm gonna head on out. But
warmer? Isn't there snow on the ground?
There's a little snow.
I'd say that
supposed to get 6 inches tomorrow night.
Oh, big storm coming.
Yeah, well, not.
Yeah, that's not warmer.
No.
It's the wrong way for me.
Well,
Bob,
it's -2 this morning, so usually snows when it's around 25 to 30, so that's warmer.
well, Bob probably would have laughed at all the guys last night that were suffering through the 50-degree temperatures right around sunset.
50 degrees sounds pretty nice to me.
Brian was walking around in shorts that day.
Yeah, most of the day I'm that guy that's usually when it's 30 degrees outside, I got shorts and a pullover on, and I'm pretty happy. So yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
So
I went and got my beanie cap, so I was ready for the cold after that.
Yeah, I was rocking the Radio Shack T-shirt today, and
chat room, if you guys have any other questions, please throw them out here for us. We got another 8 minutes or so before we wrap it up. So if you got anything else, you guys got anything, Dan or Brian?
Let's see here. Oh, I was gonna ask. So it's great that you get your grandson out hiking along with your daughter, and I noticed that he kind of started out a little bit young, and he's older now. So
Yeah,
has
that's
he
right.
taken any?
Has
he taken any interest in ham radio and maybe combining getting on the radio on a summit?
Yeah, he's definitely wants to get his license, but he's still young, so some of the questions are probably a little tough for him right now. But I'm sure he'll get it eventually. He likes to hike with me. Yeah,
that's great.
Fishing,
yeah, I could tell that just.
Together. Yeah,
I could tell that he must enjoy hiking because the age progression you can see as he's been growing up. That he's up on top of mountains all the way through his age group. So that's great.
Yeah, that's right.
So another Jeff has another question. AA6XA. He wants to know what your favorite New Hampshire peak is.
I would say probably Moosilauke. I like Moosilauke.
Why is that?
It's just a good hike in the wintertime, and it's got a nice view up there. But there's a lot of peaks that are nice in New Hampshire. That one probably stands out a little bit more.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me pull this up here real quick while we got a second. John.
I was gonna say one more thing about my grandson. When I first started hiking with him, he actually, I had to wait for him a little bit because he kind of tagged along, looking for frogs and toads or whatever on the way. Salamanders. That was another thing. He'd turn rocks over and so forth. But now, geez, he's at 8 years old, almost 9, and he's ahead of me.
He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah. We don't get a lot of salamanders and things, but I took my grandson out, and he's 7 now, and he was picking up rocks, so he weighed a whole lot more when we got back to the car than when he started out.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
All right, I got right here. Let me just bring this up real quick. It'll come over to the stream here in just a sec. We have John, who KN4LRI, just recently became a mountain goat. Well, that's pretty cool. Congratulations to him. And then Gary, W5GDW, became a Super Sloth since we last met. So congratulations to him as well. And so just wanted to recognize those people. When I get a chance, I'd like to pull those off the SOTA reflector and acknowledge them. So that's cool. So Bob, one other question here. What would you tell somebody who is interested in doing summits on the air? They're brand new. They haven't done an activation before, and they're looking for information. And they're like, how do I get started? What do I do? What would you tell them?
Well, I think the first thing is to get on the SOTA website and register on there, so you can start logging your calls and looking for spots. If you're doing chasing, getting started in chasing, that's the place to go. Activating, you just need some equipment, and if you're doing it in New Hampshire, I'm not sure where this person is, but do some research in terms of the trails, how to access the summit, and start off with that.
Okay. Good. Let's see. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's spelled K-O-V-A. Is it Covane? Maybe Covane. K-O-V-A-Y-N-E. In the chat room, he asked, for each of us, all 4 of us, what is the most difficult summit you all have hiked up? So Dan, what about you?
Oh, geez. God, probably summer hike, here in the valley is probably the worst for me. And usually, or Lone Mountain is a great hill in like this time of year, but I did it once in the summertime, and it is just unforgiving just because of the heat in the valley. And then we didn't encounter them this time, but I know in the summertime the bees up there are just amazingly bad. So, and of course I didn't take enough water during the summer, so that's a big problem. So even though it's not a real long hike or a particularly high hike, just hiking in the heat here in Arizona, that made it pretty bad.
Yeah, I have a video where I got caught with a bee, if you recall.
Yes.
Brian, what was your? I think yours is gonna be the same as mine. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
So for me, I think the most difficult summits, or we'll go with this. Anytime, with the exception of Bill Williams and Summit Mountain, anytime you and I do a summit, it is usually a difficult summit.
Yes.
So I would say Armor Mountain is probably at the top of that list.
Yep.
And then closely followed by Armor, I think would be Jump Benchmark.
Yep.
I think those two probably rank as two of the more difficult ones that you and I have done. Jump Benchmark because there was a lot of ground time before we even got to the summit. And then Armor Mountain just because it was brutal. I mean, between the brush and everything else and getting all the way up to the top and you attracting all the snakes,
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie was looking for rattlesnakes and calling them. He was using his rattlesnake call.
Yeah.
Before we
Snake charmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
We had an Arizona black rattlesnake on a log that looked like a pile of poop that I actually almost stepped on because it was sitting in the same spot I did right when we came out.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
that's scary.
That would probably be the two most difficult ones I think I've done, and those were both with you. And then
Yep.
there was, so yeah, those two. But
Yeah.
I think my favorite summit would be just because of the view and being able to hang out on top of it. I really liked A1 Mountain. I just don't know why. It's not anything in particular about the summit itself, but the view and the way to sit on it and the panorama from it makes it just a nice place to go sit on top of.
Cool. Bob?
Yeah. You might want to try Vulture Peak out there sometime.
Yeah, well,
That's a
Vulture,
challenge.
it's a cool summit. I've actually thought about doing it. It's just
Yep.
it's almost 70 miles away. So
Oh yeah.
it's a long drive from this side of
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
What about you, Charlie?
Well, I was asking Bob what his is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you passed it over to Bob. I didn't hear that.
Well, there's I don't know, there's a lot of ones that come to mind, but I do one in the Adirondack Mountains called Mountain Make'em, and it involves a slide that you have, rock slide, that you have to go up over, and that's probably one of the most difficult ones. I was the first one to activate that one. I was with Paul N1ZF, and the rocks you take a step and the rocks would just slide underneath you, and it's quite steep. So that one comes to mind as far as the most difficult. Vulture Peak actually was pretty hard. That stretch from the saddle up is pretty difficult. That's in fact, one fellow was down at the saddle looking up at me, and he looks up at me and he says, "Are you all right up there?" And I said, "Yeah, well, I think so." I was coming down. It wasn't so bad going up, but coming down, it's hard to get your footing down.
Oh, geez. The challenge has been issued. I'm going to try it then. And my favorite.
That's one for you out there.
My most difficult peak, as Brian mentioned, was Armor Mountain. I mean, took a lot longer than we expected primarily because we had to fight through Manzanita almost the whole way, and it was just a bear. By the time I got back, and my shirt was ripped and all bloodied, and my shoes, I even posted on Instagram. The soles of them were destroyed and coming off, and it was I came home and even 4 Advil in bed didn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, I think we're about ready to wrap it up here. Bob, hey, thank you so much for coming on board. Very interesting how things are up there in the Northeast, and all of your adventures. Congratulations on the triple and the 5-time shack sloth, super sloth actually, and that's 50 shack sloths, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you guys in the chat for joining us, and for those who'll be watching later. Really appreciate everybody coming on board and watching. I'll say 73 to you guys, and let the rest of you guys say it as well.
Thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed it. That's fun.
7-3, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
73.
73.
Bye.